fire and water and wind and light. What's the next one? Earth? No. Oh, yes, that's alright. Dark. What's up, everybody? We're gonna look at the dark monsters in Summoner's War and see which is good or bad for Trial of Ascension. I already did this video, actually, but crashed. Well, the video crashed, not Summoner's War. The video crashed. Okay, so we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna try to do it quicker this time. So it's only gonna be 50 minutes instead of an hour 10. All right, Havana. First skill. Okay, first skill, attack break. Second skill, defense break. Good for Necropolis. Yes. Not good for TOA. We got Soren. We got a stun on the first skill. Second skill has a stun, but it's only a single target, and it's only if both of them hit the same target. And chances of, with 5 monsters, chances of that happening are slim to none. Glancing hit. This is just a single target, right? If it's just a single target, then no. I don't remember if it is or not. It's been a while since I've seen her. Then we have Gerok. Increased attack speed, which is nice, speed buff. 50% crit rate bonus, but it's a single target. And damage increases as the target enemy's HP decreases. No, not for TOA, no. We have Cameron. We have a glancing hit on the first one. We have attack speed break on the second one. AoE attack speed break. Nice, actually, that's not that bad. And then we have attacks the enemy 3 times with Spirit Balls. It's what male cheerleaders have in their pants. Spirit Balls. Recovers HP by 15% of the inflicted damage. No, Shannon's just better. Shannon's better for TOA than she is. So no. We have Gorgo. We have the first skill. Reduce enemy's attack gauge, which is nice against bosses. We have second skill, attack power break. And it's an AoE, so if you want to, you can put this on Despair, actually. Bzz, bzz, it's my phone. Deals damage according to your max HP, crit rate bonus, stuns if it lands a critical hit, so it's a guaranteed... It's a nuke third skill, plus a stun, plus it's a guaranteed almost stun. As long as you have any crit rate on any skills. But that's not that bad. For TOA, yeah, I could see him being used for TOA. Alright, so we have Rizek. Stun first skill, I like it. Continuous damage dots, second skill, not crazy about it. And resistance and accuracy increased. I don't love it. Don't love it. Not for TOA, no. We have Decameron. Attack power break. Continuous damage here. And immunity against freeze and stun effects. Damage proportionate to the target's max HP. Are there any AoE? Maybe some boss levels. But aside from that, he basically just be used for this passive dealing damage proportionate to the target's max HP. We do attack power break, but aside from that, I don't think really for TOA for the most part. We have Cha-Cha, which increases attack gauge here. We have a heal and harmful effect removal here. And we have an attack that transfers harmful effects, but we don't want them to move, though. So we don't want them to be able to debuff us. That's the whole point. So no, I'm going to say no for Cha-Cha. And we have Kume. First skill, decrease attack speed, not bad. Proportional to your max HP, stuns the... Oh no, reduce the enemy's attack speed for 2 turns. So double attack speed? We don't really need double attack speed. Passive, you reflect 10% damage back to the enemy and fill up your attack bar by 25% each time. We don't want to get attacked, though. So we want to try to crowd control them so much that we don't get attacked. I don't think Kume for... no, not for TOA. We have Helia. Defense break. Stuns if you get a critical hit. Okay, so at least we have a stun there. And then we have the Sign of Death. Damage decreasing the defense and applying a branding effect on there. No, not for... No, not for TOA. Alright, then we have Shumar. Shumar heals with the first skill. Second skill decreases damage increases according to attack speed. And then we have increases attack speed, and attack speed increases even more as HP decreases. He's a single target monster, though. He's got no team synergy. So no. Better for PvP. This is all just for Trial of Ascension, guys. I'm not saying which monsters are good in the game. I'm saying which monsters are good or bad for Trial of Ascension. We have Camules. Dots for the first skill, attack, power, and crit rate buff here. Power of Darkness reflects 30% of incoming damage for 3 turns. Keep your HP from falling under 1. So he stops himself from dying. He could be a good dark tank for light attack teams. Just don't take him into Bella, because Bella's going to seize that right off. So yeah. But aside from that, I don't really love him for TOA. Just that third skill is pretty interesting. Then we have Crow, defense break plus dots. We have teams up with another ally to attack an enemy. You could team up with Hua. You could team up with Vertiheal, so that's not that bad for that. And then we have Scar, attacks in the enemy's wounds. Damage is increased by 50% if the enemy is under a harmful effect. It's a single target attack, but if there's any time you're going to be able to debuff the crap out of your opponents with pretty reliable, in a pretty reliable situation, then this might be it. Because you're going to have all these debuffs on your opponents anyway. If you have Beretta, if you have other monsters that are going to do AoE stuns and do AoE speed decreases and attack breaks, then this attacking on top of those things and on top of a defense break too could potentially do really, really good single target damage. So it's a single target, whereas a Chamomir is a AoE. A Chamomir shines more than Crow in this situation, but Crow could be okay. He could be okay. And then we have Mantura. We have removes beneficial effect here. Reduce attack speed here. And then we AoE, weakening defense and doing continuous damage. I actually don't think that this is that bad. Continuous damage plus weakened defense. He could be good if you don't have Beretta and you have a Chamomir. Since the Chamomir is going to do extra damage based on, like I just said, based on all those harmful effects. Plus we have a defense break on that as well. That's actually not that bad. We have Maggie. Stun and Provoke on the first skill, not that bad. AoE continuous damage for 3 turns. Impact increases depending on defense. There's better dot monsters over here, and I'm really not too crazy about her, about Maggie. Her, I guess? Yeah, sure, why not? The passive for this, but at least we do have an AoE dot skill. So you can put this on Despair and not do too bad. It's usable. Then we have Varus. We have deals damage according to attack speed, defense break, and attack break, which is good for bosses and things like that. And then we have increases defense and recovers 20% of the damage inflicted. I don't think Varus for TOA, no. Not my first choice. Then we have Drogon, increases his own attack gauge. We have Hell Shadow, AoE defense break. So there is that, but I think there's better AoE defense breakers, to be honest. He's kind of squishy. And then we have inflicts 33% of your max HP to the attacker and disturbs HP recovery at the moment of death, which is automatic. But really, no. I don't see Drogon being good for TOA. I don't really like him in general, though. So we have dots with the first skill for Jumaline. We have she heals herself based on damage. Single target, though, really no. Just bring one healer for the whole team and don't even worry about any of that. We have Seren. We have the decreased attack power here. We have a recovery debuff here. And then we have weakens defense here. For Necropolis, yes. But for TOA, no. No, she has no team synergy for TOA. For Necropolis, she could be really good, though. So we'll do a spotlight on her. I know one of my guildmates is building her. So we have Hakken. Provoke with the first skill, I like that. Increase attack power of all allies, remove 2 harmful effects. We don't want to get harmful effects anyway, but in case we do, might not be that bad. Attacks 2 times and potentially stuns. No, I don't like him. I think he takes up a slot that could be better used for other monsters. Jolton. Heal debuff, and then we have a stun here, which is nice. And then we have the passive, but we don't want to get hit anyway. So Jolton I would not recommend for TOA as well. I like Jolton, just not for TOA. We have continuous damage here. We have defense break over here. And then we have the revives all fallen allies with little HP and increases their attack speed for 2 turns. Now, there's better revivers. And look at this cooldown is insane. The cooldown is insane. At least we have an attack speed leader, but no to Jensen. Sorry, Jensen. Sorry, buddy. Mara, increased chance of landing a critical hit. We have disturbed HP recovery, and then we have the inability to revive, which is nice against revive teams, but honestly, she's so squishy. She's so squishy she might not be able to survive. So I'm gonna have to say no to Mara because of her squishiness. Plus, if you're faced with a revive team, you might just be better off bringing a bomber and killing them, or bringing 2 bombers and killing them all at the same time. So, or just keeping them stunned all the time as well. Then we have Miho Tito. We have a stun on the first skill. We have the decrease enemy's attack gauge here, which could be good against bosses, potentially. And then we counterattack with a critical hit, but we don't want to get attacked in the first place, Miho. So, no Miho. No, Miho. Alright, then we have Jubel. He defense breaks here, he provokes here. Provoke I like. But honestly, he provokes a single target, and Kayan, the fire one, provokes multiple targets, which I like better. But it's Kayan's third skill though. And then we have this passive, decreased chance of receiving a critical hit. I think that there's better stuff. I like him for arena defense more than I like him for TOA. We have this, we do damage, and recovers by 30% of the inflicted damage. Then we have a, this is like Michelle, shortens the time of harmful effects, elongates the time of beneficial effects. This could be useful. It's kind of like, think of it as like a kind of like a cleanse, but it also will increase your, like if you have Bernard and you have the attack speed buff, and you have the attack power buff, and different other beneficial effects. This is gonna be nice. It's just gonna make all those stronger. But the soul control recovers your HP if the enemy you attack dies. No, if we really want to build something for this, we're gonna build Michelle, because she at least has a revive. It's better than the Rashid. We have Jamie. Aims for the weak spots, ignore defense, attack again with this. And then we have removes harmful effects and increase their attack power for 3 turns. No, there's certain situations where that's good, but no, I'm not too crazy about him for TOA. What do we have? Loke. Increase your attack power if you get a critical hit. Pierces with a spear, deals damage proportional to the max HP, which could be good. Could be good for TOA, actually, for the boss levels. Attacks and does continuous damage for 3 turns. I don't know if this is a random, though, because I haven't tried him out. I think he might have some potential. He does continuous damage dots. He attacks 5 times and does dots. That's a lot of dots, man. That's a lot of dots. So that might have some potential, but I would like to use other stuff better than that for TOA. Okay, we have this. This does continuous damage here. Removes a beneficial effect and blocks removes a harmful effect, blocks beneficial effects. And then this is an AoE, which puts them to sleep. Since we're already giving them sleep, I think maybe Violent might be good for this. Since we don't need to spare, we already have a sleep. So Violent to get more turns, to get more access to the sleep. Just make sure you don't do AoEs after you put them to sleep and wake them up. Wake them up. Okay, then we have Thrain, Dark Grim Reaper. Acquires additional turn if the enemy dies. We have an AoE continuous damage. Nice, I like this for TOA. Then we have an AoE stun if the enemy is under continuous damage, which he already does. Thrain, for runes for Thrain, I kind of think differently than what it looks like he should be runed for. He should be runed for attack, according to ComToUs, but I think with his skill set, he really should be runed for high speed, decent accuracy, and some HP to make sure he's not that squishy. And I think Violent is actually, since this is already a guaranteed stun, I think Violent to get more chances to do dots, and to get more chances to get the Doomsday, the access to Doomsday. So I would actually rune mine differently than he really shows his stats should be runed for. So, alright, then we have Zinc. We have stun on the first skill. We have AoE defense break on the second skill. AoE attack break on the third skill. I like him for Despair, because he's got 2 AoEs. I like the chances of getting stun on that. And the stun's pretty good on here too. I wish mine had higher speed. That's my only complaint about him. But I could just make him have higher speed anyway, so that's my fault that he doesn't have higher speed already. Okay. I have Wei Shin. Wei Shin, first skill, decrease attack power. Second skill, Gets another turn if the enemy does. Blech. And then 3-point pinpoint attacks, continuous damage, increases crit rate of all allies for 2 turns. There's better monsters to stick in there, in that spot. So no on him. Kamatau, provoke for 1 turn. That's actually not that bad. For the first skill, it's not that bad. Recovers HP if the enemy dies, and then cannot get buffs. Great. Shoots ourselves in the foot. Okay. And then, and yeah, his attack power increases, but he really is not good for TOA. I think maybe for PvP more, but I think I don't know, I gotta change his runes and try him out again, but I think I'm a little bit disappointed in him, personally. I 6-starred mine. I wanted him to be better. Weakens defense, continuous damage. Okay, we have an AoE that does dots. Yes, does dots, which is not bad. Could be good. Then increases chance of landing a glancing hit and counter attacks. Mostly, I think, for the AoE dots, but I think Thrain is better for that. To be honest, Thrain is better for TOA than Divinodon. Then we have Wound Hack, increased crit rate on here. We have AoE, which decreases their attack speed. That's actually not that bad. And then we have stuns the enemy with the highest attack bar for 1 turn. Pretty nice, but I mean, that's just a passive. He doesn't actually attack with this. But he could maybe be used in TOA. He could maybe be used for there. Then we have Hanem. Mostly for his second skill though. Then we have Hanem. Chances of missing are decreased by 30%. We have Aim Ahead. Increased crit rate. Stuns if you get a critical hit. Not bad. And then we have increased crit rate to... I think he's really good for PvP. Not really good for PvP, but I think he's good for PvP more than the other stuff. More than TOA. Alright, then we have Kuna. We have Stun with the first skill. We have Recovers HP, Provokes with the second skill, and then we have Jumps into enemy territory. Attack all enemies, decrease their defense for 2 turns. I actually think this is pretty good. You have a defense break, and it's an AoE. You can put him on Despair too. You can put him on Despair Revenge. He can Revenge and Stun, and he can also Stun with the Provoke. He gets attacked, he can Revenge, and he can Provoke again, or Stun as well. So yes. So I mean not Provoke again. He can stun. He can stun again. That's, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But I think the AoE defense break with Despair Revenge might be good for Kuna. Who's next? Basalt, very good for TOA. We have Provoke first skill. Second skill recovers HP of all allies and increases defense for 2 turns. Very nice. And then we have this, which does damage proportion to my defense, decreases the attack gauge by 35%. Nice. I see a lot of people that have him runed for TOA with high speed and HP and defense, because remember, his heal is based on his HP. Okay, then we have this bitch right here, Calicus. Increases crit rate with this. This is an AoE, attack power and attack speed decrease, which I like this actually for TOA. That's very nice. And then if the enemy has less than 30% HP, this attack will do 100% more damage. We really got to see how much damage that actually does. I haven't tried that out yet, but I at least like the second skill for TOA for that one. This has a stun on the first skill. It has a stun on the second skill as well, and the Exploding Hands does attacks the target enemy. Additionally, does 25% of the target's remaining HP as damage if the enemy is under inability effects. So, under inability effects, TOA we're gonna have a lot of those. So that could be good. We'll have to see. But we'll see on that one. I got a 6-star mine eventually. He wouldn't be my first choice, I don't think. But we have Karakum. Continuous damage here. Then we have an AoE, disturbs HP recovery. Okay, we could do him with Despair for that. Deals additional damage based on how much HP you've lost. Only activate on the monster's turn. There's better stuff, in my opinion. There's better stuff. Okay, we have Crawler. First skill Stun. We have the second skill Provoke. I'm pretty sure this is an AoE Provoke, which is nice, just like the water one. And then we have damage increased according to the number of attacks you have received. And he's got a Provoke, so people are going to be attacking him. Monsters are going to be attacking him. Damage increased damage will reset when you attack an enemy. He's got an AoE Provoke, which means he could be pretty good for TOA. It's not a stun, but it's a provoke. But you don't need to stun and provoke at the same time. So, but he could be useful. Recovers damage. Sorry, recovers HP by 50% of the additional damage. I'm not drinking beer, by the way. I'm drinking root beer. I guess it's still beer. It's not alcoholic, though, is what I mean. 2-turn sleep, not bad. Not bad for TOA. That could be useful. Stuns the target if the attack lands a critical hit. Crit rate against targets under sleep effects. But she's only... You're exchanging a 2-turn sleep for a 1-turn stun. I don't love her for TOA, though. It's just single target skills. Who do we have next? We have Talasha. Alright. Chances, increases landing enemy... Increases the chances of the enemy missing for 2 turns if you get a critical hit. Okay, this is an AoE, which has a heal on it as well. You could put her on despair as well. We have a revives a dead ally revives a dead ally to return with low HP but full attack bar. Not a bad revive, actually. So we got an AoE heal, and we have this revive as well. I think she can be okay for TOA. Then we have... No, that is not the next one we have. We have Ashubel. Increases crit rate with the first skill. Causes turbulence to set the enemy's attack gauge to 0, which is nice, especially against bosses. Increases your attack gauge by 50%, which is also nice. Hooray, hooray, Ashubel. Nightfall surrounds all enemies with night and puts them to sleep for 2 turns. AoE, sleep for 2 turns. Very nice for TOA, actually. Very nice. Keep in mind that his leader skill is only for dungeons, though, not for the Trial of Ascension. Then we have Ikaris. We have dots with the first skill. Second skill, it's an AoE and recovers the HP of all allies. Nice, I like the AoEs. Especially if we have Despair on the monster for TOA. And then steals life from the enemy. This is basically like the Arnold's Extortion. She's going to do a lot of damage based on how tanky she is. And then we have... So yeah, she could be okay for TOA. With that second skill mostly. We have this first turn sleep. Very nice. We have the second skill. Transfers harmful effects you're on, but we don't really want to get harmful effects anyway. And then we have the Night Hag's Scuttle. A swarm of bats attacks all enemies, dealing damage proportionate to their max HP. Ooh, maybe TOA hard. Okay. Also having a 75% chance to disturb their HP recovery for 2 turns. TOA hard or like bosses too. Could be nice. Alright, so I think she's got some promise for TOA actually. We have Liebly, first skill, disturb HP recovery. Second skill is a bomb. Remember, a bomb is also a stun when it detonates. So if you don't kill him with that, at least you do stun. And then we have the Shadow Revenge, decreases cooltime when you're attacked and counterattacks as well. Decreasing cooltime might be very nice to get him to stick more bombies on there. But you need to be attacked, and we don't want them to get turns anyway. But he's a bomber, and bombers are okay for TOA. Bombers are good for TOA, not okay. They're good. Okay, so we have this. Removes beneficial effects, continuous damage. I'm not excited about either of those. And we have locks down the enemy target with the power of darkness, decreasing attack bar by 50%. This attack increases your attack bar by 100% when used with full HP. We can potentially keep bosses on lock, because it's a built-in violent proc here. It's only an attack bar decrease by 50% though. But maybe if she was on violent with high speed, this might be nice to stop the bosses from attacking. So I can see the usefulness of that, but the first and second skills I'm not super in love with for TOA. Then we have Guillaume. I heard someone saying that they were using him in TOA, and I was like, why? The first skill stuns, okay, which is nice. Second skill stuns as well. Okay, so that's good. They're only single target attackers though, the single target attacks. And then this increases crit rate, decreases chance of receiving a critical hit, but it's just single target stuns. So he would not be my first choice for TOA. There's better monsters that have AoE stuns. Guillaume versus Julian. Julian is awesome for TOA. Awesome for TOA. Guillaume, not as awesome for TOA. Compared to Julian, he pales in comparison. Alright, so we have Bethany, Dark Magical Archer. This is going to various harmful effects according to the attribute relation between you and the enemy. Could be okay. Drives a wedge into all enemies. AoE attack speed decrease, which is nice. I like the AoE and attack speed decrease as well. for TOA. That's good. I give that my seal of approval. And then we have 30% chance to ignore the enemy's defense. Could be good for big tanky yum yum monsters. But so yeah, I could see Bethany being used in TOA. Let's see, what else? We have Ren. We do damage according to attack speed. And we decrease their attack speed as well. Then we do continuous damage here, and then we do attack an enemy 4 times, decreasing attack bar by 20%, and stuns if the enemy's attack bar is depleted. I actually like this one for TOA. It's a single target attacker, but I like her for boss stages. I think she's really useful for boss stages. Then we have Diaz. Okay, heal block here. We have a defense break, attack break here. And then we have this passive, reduces the incoming damage that other allies receive by 15%, and reduces the chance of him getting a critical hit. We don't want the enemies to move though. So really that's not what we're trying to do, so that's not I would not suggest him for TOA. So, alright. In guild battles, in raids, Diaz is great. He's great for the front lines. Make sure he's got some defense on him too, but he's great for the front lines, but not for TOA. We have Grego attack speed break on here. We have this weakens defense here and decreases exchanges the decreased attack speed with the stun effect here. You can actually take something an AoE attack speed decreaser, and you can combo it with the Grego with the deadly touch and stun that as well. So that could be a decent combo. And then we have this accumulates if the enemy or ally dies. So we're gonna kill enemies, yes, which is nice, but we're hoping to not get dead allies. So this could be okay for TOA. Then we have Siege. We have defense break here. We have continuous damage here, which I'm not excited about. We have AoE, which is increased damage if the enemy is under weakening effects, which we're always going to have. So that's not bad. I think he's more for a TOA nuke than for a TOA control strategy, though. Doesn't bring too much aside from that, and he's kind of squishy. So you got to be careful where you use him. And then we have another TOA nuke strategy monster, I think. We have Faye. This can combo into this, which removes beneficial effects, but we're hoping to not let them get turns, so they can't put those beneficial effects on. And then we have 4 random targets, potential to ignore defense and counterattack when being attacked. There's some levels that I think Faye is amazing. There's some things that I think she's amazing at, especially Arena. She's fantastic at. She's got a great Arena leader skill. This is not for TOA. You can't use that in TOA, and I think she fizzles out more in TOA than anything else because she doesn't have as much staying power. If she starts taking damage, she might die. I think she's great, but I just don't think that would be the monster of choice for TOA. Okay, we have Corona. First skill has a built-in violent proc on it. Then we have Fever Time, increases attack power, critical rate of all allies for 2 turns. Okay, that's not bad. And we have this, inflicts damage proportionate to your max HP to all enemies. Removes harmful effect on the enemy with a 75% chance. We're going to have a lot of harmful effects on them. And the enemy is put to sleep for the number of turns equal to the number of removed effects. So we could potentially have a really, really good crowd control strategy here by using Corona. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. And remove their harmful effects, but we could put them to sleep for a long, long time. So yes, I would say he's pretty good for TOA. Bearing, we have this, which does increased based on the harmful effects on the enemy. We're going to have a lot of harmful effects, but I don't think this does a whole ton of damage anyway. Multi-Firecracker, this the same as Gibraltar. Loud Bomb blocks beneficial effects. I think it's the same as Gibraltar. It's either similar or the same. Blocks beneficial effects for 2 turns. And then we have blows up a bomb that eliminates all magic powers to attack all enemies. Disturbs the use of all skills with a cooltime with 75% chance. Okay, so yes, I would say definitely 2 AoEs. Yes, Bearing. Very nice. For TOA. Then we have Hrungnir. We have this, does continuous damage dots. AoE stun, which is nice for TOA. This is a good single target damage, but I think more for the stun than anything else. Okay, then we have Frigate. 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 Defense break here. And we have a stun here, multiple enemy attack stun, which is nice. I like that. Increase the attack bar of all allies by 50% each. 50% attack bar increase. What? Which basically means that everyone gets... we have basically 2.5 turns that we get from using this, and reduces the cool time of their skills by 1 turn each. This is a very, very valuable skill for TOA. I would definitely recommend him... I would definitely recommend using him for TOA. He could be very beneficial for you. Frigate. Very, very nice. Especially make sure he's got good speed, and he'll work wonders. Then we have Beta. Beta's in the same slot for like Chloe or Veligil or Fedora or Asasis. They're nice if you start actually getting hit, start taking damage. I like to not get hit. I like to not let the enemies attack. But if you start taking damage, then Beta becomes very useful. She's got a revive on her. She's got a immunity and decreased chances of receiving a critical hit. So there's that. Then we have Lanit. I think she's actually pretty good for TOA. We have this multiple hit, so we could do Despair on this. There's another multiple hit, we could do Despair on this as well. And then we have a massive damage here. I think maybe I would rune her for speed, speed crit damage, and HP. For like violent speed crit damage HP for TOA. This, I mean, not violent. Why was I saying violent? For Despair, speed crit damage HP. And yeah, I mean, violent revenge for Necropolis, but for TOA, she's also got this good leader skill too. TOA maybe Despair I would use on her, but this could potentially be good for doing damage to bosses. All right, what do we have next? We have Isabel. She's got a defense break. She increases her attack power and crit chance, and then she does massive damage. Yes, she does massive damage, but it's single target massive damage. So she could be okay for TOA, but I would only put one of her like in that single target damage dealer slot. You don't want too many single target damage dealers, because then you're just never going to be able to clear TOA. In my opinion, there's better stuff for this slot, even though I love Isabel and I think she's a great monster. I just don't think that... I think she's better for PvP than for TOA. Then we have Carl. Hot Carl. Attacks a targeted enemy and increases your attack power. Increases crit rate and instantly attacks with a powerful strike like Trevor. And then we have Piercing Dagger. Ignores all damage reduction effects. Guaranteed to land as a critical attack. Not for TOA, no. Another single target attacker. We have Amudat. Decreases attack bar with the first skill. Very nice, especially on violent. Attacks all enemies, decreasing 30% of their attack bar and attack speed. Very, very nice for TOA. I love this. I love this. Damage of the skill increases according to attack speed. Very nice. We have Tip of the Spear. Recovers 15% of the attack bar each time the enemy gains a turn. This doesn't work with this. They're kind of counterproductive. I mean, counterintuitive, counterproductive. Both of them, actually. The more turns they get, is you're gonna recover your attack bar, but we're gonna decrease their attack age so that and their attack speed so that they don't get turns. So interesting, but kind of works against each other, really. Then we have, but I still like him for TOA though. Then we have Dusky, decrease attack speed, which is nice. Increase attack speed and critical rate of all allies for 2 turns, nice. He takes the same spot as like a Bernard would take. Yes, you're creepy, Dusky, we know. And then we have this, which does a shield. I'm not too crazy about the shield. I do like the attack speed buff and crit rate buff and attack speed decrease on that. So, and then we have leader skill. He increases the resistance of ally monsters in the dungeons, but it's not TOA is not a dungeon. And then we have Isilin, 2 to 3 attacks here. Decrease enemies' attack speed. Attacks 4 random targets and does continuous damage. And supportive fire for allies under attack. It's not for TOA though. Great for Necropolis and not for TOA. Then we have Han. Continuous damage here. We have a stun on the second skill, and then we have lots of damage here and attack bar increase as well. For TOA, Han would not be my first choice, no. He has an amazing leader skill though if you're gonna take a dark team. So if you have a dark team that works. So there is that. Then we have Trinity. First skill combos into the second if you kill, which you're probably not going to be able to in TOA that much. Recovers HP here. And if we kill, she becomes invincible. Not too crazy about this. And then Ragnarok, final battle begins. Both allies and enemies lose 15% of their HP, and the enemies receive massive additional damage. That's actually not that bad. When you get into the higher levels of TOA, I've noticed that this actually, it attacks twice. So first time, they lose 15% of their HP, it's an AoE, and then the second time, they receive massive additional damage, which the massive additional damage for low levels of TOA is more than the first part, which sucks away their health. But in higher levels of TOA, sucking away 15% of their health every time you attack with Ragnarok is actually not that bad. It actually does a pretty decent amount of damage. So yeah, actually she is pretty good for TOA, and I think on Violent to get more times to use Ragnarok could make shorter work of the levels than you actually realize. Then we have... But how many people have these Nat 5s anyway? Okay, then we have Grogan the Dark Dragon. First skill, shoots a dark arrow at the enemy. Second skill, Storm of Darkness to attack all enemies. Stuns. Okay, AoE with the stun built in. Ready like it for TOA. Decimate AoE, which does a good amount of damage, and always lands a critical hit. So double AoE. Definitely could be a nuke strategy. You could put him for nuke, and you can also have him for control since he's got double AoEs and one of them already has a stun built in. I do like Grogan for a TOA. Then we have Jara. We have a stun on the first skill. We have the second skill. Inflict damage to an enemy. The more HP the enemy currently has, the larger the damage becomes. So this is like Perna, basically. But Jara doesn't have the heal. No heal, son. Okay, burns the enemy's soul in a fiery path, inflicts continuous damage. 3 ways, 2 turns. Enemy cannot be revived if the enemy is killed with this skill. Depends on the level, though. Depends on the level. There's better stuff to put in this slot, actually. There's some of the other Nat 5s I like more, like the Dark Dragon and stuff like that, but Jara can be used in certain levels and can be pretty effective, especially against multiple revive teams. But usually those are light, and they're going to keep hitting Jara and start murdering the shit out of him. Alright, so we have Zeratu. Continuous damage here for the first skill. Then we have attack, buff, and immunity, and lots of attacks. So Zeratu, yes, for a nuke strategy, but really for TOA control strategy, Zeratu is not the #1 monster that I would pick for here. Single target attacks, and if he starts taking damage, he could very well die, because you need to rune him for attack, right? Because you're going to want to rune him for attack for all those extra attacks, and it's very possible that when monsters start attacking, he might bite the dust. He might bite the dust. So, yes, he's fun, yes, he's amazing, and he's probably more for PvP. Actually, I like the Light Chimera more than the Dark Chimera for TOA. Then we have, who is this? Kadir's. Okay, so we have a heal for the first skill. We have a attack power and attack speed weakening for the second skill. And we have the passive branding effect. Heal all allies for 30% of the damage done. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Also, whenever you kill an enemy, the attack bar of all allies increases by 30%. Extra nice. Yes. Heal and attack bar increase. Oh my god, please give me one. Please give me one. So yes, good for TOA. Gianna, she has this, increases her attack gauge. She's got the bomb, and she gets an extra turn to move. And then this, it's cleansing the enemy of their beneficial effects and stunning the enemies whose beneficial effect has been removed. Very good. Gianna is very, very good for TOA. She's good for, especially for levels where I think there's like a Grim Reaper Megan level or something like that, or what is it, Asasis levels, things where like the monsters actually move and they start buffing the teams. You can stick her in same way as Praha. Praha does dots. She's gonna do stuns. It's very nice, very nice. So So there is that. Plus she's got the bomb, which is nice. You could also take her with a bomb team, and no, you can't. No, because I'm thinking she's the same as Ciara, but she's not. She doesn't detonate the bombs. I was gonna say take her with a bomb team, she detonates the bombs, but no, that's Ciara. All right, then we have Nikki. Puts the enemy to sleep for 1 turn. Core has another turn when the enemy falls asleep. Then we have a cleanse and a heal, which is nice, like Annabelle. And we have AoE, disturb HP recovery, and blah blah blah, and AoE. Okay, so we could use her for despair as well. Plus she's got a heal, and she's got a built-in, kind of like a built-in violent proc, basically, with her first skill. So yeah, I like her for TOA. Then we have Ragdoll. First skill, dots. Second skill, ignore defense if your HP is below 30%, but we don't want the HP to go down that low anyway. And then we have this, increases the attack bar of all allies by 10% if an ally receives a critical hit. We don't want the enemies to move, so this passive is almost going to be useless. So Ragdoll I actually do not like for TOA. I think he's kind of useless the way we're trying to play TOA. Unfortunately, he just loses so much of his value. Son Zengla, we have a stun with the first skill. We have a attacks and decreases defense, and attack power increases as your HP decreases. Okay, not crazy about the second skill for TOA. Attacks with a giant cloud to inflict damage proportion to your max HP, stuns them or decreases defense. Nice. AoE and stun or decrease defense. I do like him, plus the stun on here as well. Very nice, lots of stuns. And we have Fermion. First skill removes a beneficial effect. Second skill, continuous damage. He's like Veladril, basically. And then this third skill, inflict damage decreases as the number of surviving allies increases. And the inflict damage increases as more allies die. But we don't want our allies to die anyway, and he's a single target attacker with no stuns or no crowd control. So Fermion is actually really not good for TOA. Then we have Rahul. Crushing Blow strikes and inflicts damage proportion to your max HP, increases attack speed if you get a critical hit, and he recovers as well. Attack speed increases, nice for the first skill. Then we have basically a hug just like Chandra, where he takes half the damage for whoever is hugged, which could be nice if you're running like for example, when I was talking about like, oh, this monster's squishy, but that monster's squishy, you could take something like this, and not that anyone actually has these damn light dark nat 5s, but you could do that. You could use Chandra if you have Chandra. So there's that. And then we have attacks all enemies and blocks beneficial effects. Could be nice based on what level you're actually using, but I think, to be honest, Chandra is a better choice for TOA than Rahul is. I would prefer Chandra for TOA instead of Rahul. Then we have Kraka, dots with the first skill, weakens defense. It's an AoE weaken defense, which is nice. That's nice. Okay, I kind of feel bad putting Kraka on whatchamacallit, on Despair though. Even though it's for TOA, she'd be better with Despair, but I feel bad putting her on Despair. And then we have a Revive, which is nice here, and able to use all skills. This, I fought a really, really good Kraka in Arena, and it was a pain, let me tell you. It was a pain. So Kraka's actually pretty good. Not my favorite monster for TOA, but she could be used for TOA. Attacks with a graceful PB touch and does glancing hit debuff. Recovers all allies' HP and attack power, just like Chasun and Huahi. And then we have this Secret Blade. Ignores all damage reduction effects. No, not for TOA. And her speed leader is for Arena. It's an awesome speed leader, but it's for only Arena. So yeah, not for TOA. No. Sorry, Sunshine. Then we have Woundsaw. We put them to sleep for one turn with the first skill. Basically like a Chiwu, attacks and removes beneficial effects and blocks them from getting more beneficial effects. And then we have Inhale Magic, steals a beneficial effect and HP from each confronting enemy. He could be used in TOA, but depends on the stage really. Depends on the stage. Then we have Lydia. First skill, defense break. Second skill, AoE. which does damage based on the attack speed. At least it's an AoE, but there's no debuffs on it though, which kind of sucks. Attacks an enemy to inflict great damage, leaves a cursing brand for 2 turns. Damage is increased with the brand. Okay, so I want to see Inject Darkness. That's the name of a Pornhub movie. So I want to see how much damage this actually does. Have we did a video on her? I don't know. But at least she has an AoE, which is nice. But I think that there's better monsters for that. Like, speaking of better monsters, Veramos. Dots with the first skill. AoE stun, you know I love it. You know I love it. And then we have a cleanse right here. Man, Veramos, I use him so much. He's amazing. Great monster. Veramos is just OP. OP like a mofo. Yes, for TOA for Veramos. Of course, obviously, we all know that. Then we have Power Surge, damage and transferring weakening effect. We hope to not get those. Removing beneficial effect, turning skulls on cooldown. Removing beneficial effects, we probably are not going to be doing that a lot because we don't want them to move or get those beneficial effects in the first place, but we can at least turn the skills on cooltime, which is nice. Then we have King of the Ruins. 50% increased damage on enemies that are under harmful effects, which we're going to have a lot of harmful effects on the enemies also, and enemies that do not have any beneficial effects is another 50% damage, which they're not, hopefully they're not going to have any beneficial effects either, because we're not going to give them the chance to move, so this is going to deal a lot more damage. Puts the skill on cooltime. He's really good for PvP, but for TOA I think that there's better monsters in my opinion. So let's see. Sylvia, we have glancing hit debuff on here. Removes all beneficial effects on the target. If there are 2 or more beneficial effects, removes the attack bar on all allies will be increased by 20% each. It really depends on the stage. Sometimes this really just doesn't do anything. So yeah, I have a couple of these girls. Not Sylvia. I have a couple of the other ones, but I don't love these first 2 skills that much. Then we have Best Partner Passive. A randomly selected ally also attacks when you attack during your turn, which is dangerous for PvP usually. I think she's great for PvP. For TOA, she's not going to be my first choice though. I don't really like her for TOA. And then we have, it sounds weird to be like light dark nat 5s. I don't really like that for TOA, but it's all about their skills. Each attack has a 30% chance to disturb enemy's HP recovery. Okay. Damage proportion to max HP and recovers 50% of the blah, 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 blah. So we're not excited about either of those. AoE. Now I'm excited. Dealing damage proportion to your max HP. Damage increases if there are fewer enemies. Okay, at least it's an AoE. Not going to be my first choice, but at least it's an AoE. Alright, then we have Nephthys. Okay. Last one, guys. I shaved like 15 minutes off this one. Attacks and decreases attack power for 2 turns. Okay. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each attack has a 50% chance to decrease defense, increase chances of landing a glancing hit, and disturb HP recovery. Yes! And then immune against inability effects, and enemies cannot resist the skill effects you apply on them. Nice! So many debuffs. You take her with the Chamomile, and GG. Call it a day. Take her with a Chamomile, the Windifreet, and Beretta, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Beautiful. So actually I do like her for TOA. AoE and all those debuffs is beautiful. So anyway, actually can't she decrease defense, glancing hit, disturb HP recovery, plus attack break. She's actually really good for raids too. Oh damn. And she's got a great leader skill, increases attack speed of ally monsters by 24%. She's very good for TOA as well. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some information. Again, this is all just TOA. I'm not talking about if monsters are good for arena and stuff. I mean, I mentioned a little bit here and there, but some monsters are really built for TOA and some monsters are really built for arena or dungeons or something else. So, or farming even. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.